Please identify yourself to the candidate.
I'm Brett Sugar. I'm the president of the student body at Union County High School. And first of all, I'd like to express my gratitude for y'all coming out and participating this evening. Now for my question. Our federal budget is out of control. What would you be the first things you cut and the first things you would not cut?
Thank you, Mr. Sugar. That's a key question. It's gone from $5 trillion debt 10 years ago, and in about another 3 to 4 years, it's going to be approaching 18 to 20 trillion in a 12, 13-year period. Think of that. 5 to over 20. It's out of control. Spending's out of control. That means that to simply pay the interest on the national debt is going to be a huge percentage of every year's budget. So your deficits can never be brought under control. So we have to take immediate action to get it under control. What do? We take the entire budget process back to, and you determine a year, whether it be 2008, and as much as it might hurt, 2007, and that's your target year to go to take your spending down to. Now, if it means dissolving agencies of government, if we adopted the fair tax, we could get rid of the IRS largely. If we adopted, just think, we've got departments of education in every state. Why do we need a federal Department of Education with all its mandates? That simply confuses things. That could be a subdivision of one of the other departments. You consolidate. That's called reorganization. So there are things that are going to have to be done. They're going to hurt. But the worst danger we've got, and that's not talking about our future. That's a future in the sense of grandchildren. I'm talking in the next 5, 6, 7 years. We're in super trouble in terms of further recessions and depression if we can't get this one issue under control. All right, Christine.
$1.3 trillion in excess spending every year. It boggles the mind. We can't even imagine that amount of money. Our government is spending, our Congress is spending as much in a week, in a 36-hour week, as was spent in holding the dollars constant, as was spent from the founding until after the Civil War, including war-related costs. This is immoral because it is taking, we keep less of our own money than the serfs kept in Russia, than Trey Gowdy's great-grandfather kept as a sharecropper. We are becoming slaves to the government, and it's wrong. It's immoral. And if we aren't able to create jobs, if we aren't able to finance our own schools, it's because so much of our money is going to Washington, and the debt that our children are going to have to pay back is outrageous. What would I do? Yes, I would abolish some of the departments of government, absolutely. But we have to restructure the entire way that we back our money. We need money backed by something real. And people say, well, you can't have that, we're too big. That really isn't true. We really could have money backed by gold or silver, and it would be stable. Thank you.
Jim.
First of all, it is not you who should be grateful for us to be here. I am grateful that you were here. And it is because of that I'm hopeful for our future, because our young people are waking up. And they realize that what we're doing in Washington is unsustainable. That is encouraging. But now I have to deliver a somber message. We cannot continue to solve the problems in Washington with the same thinking that created them. I have mentioned several times a proposal to go back and look at the enabling legislation for every agency of government and find out what it is they were enacted to do. And then everything else that's not in that enabling legislation goes away. And although this sounds like a gimmick, I mean it dead serious. I propose a salary cut of 25% for members of Congress to show leadership on this issue and how important it is. People, Senator Thomas is right. This is not something that we're going to get to. We are at an unsustainable point right now. And as somber as that sounds, there is a way out. More freedom, more liberty, promoting personal responsibility in this country. and focusing on the innovation and the ingenuity of the greatest country that's ever been known on this world to create prosperity, to unleash that once again. But we have to look ourselves in the mirror, and we have to acknowledge the fact that we have a problem. And the quickest way to dig out of a hole is to stop digging.
That's right.
Thank you for your question. The first thing I would do is symbolic, and the next 5 things I would do are substantive. Symbolically, I would cut my own pay as a congressman because it is unconscionable to give yourself a pay raise when 20% of your constituents are out of work. It is unconscionable for congressional travel to increase when your constituents cannot afford to go to Dollywood or Myrtle Beach or anywhere else. It is unconscionable when a congresswoman spends $100,000 on alcohol to fly from this part of the United States to that part of the United States. So that symbolism, I'm not about to tell you that that's going to balance the federal budget, but it'd be a nice place to start to remember that public service is a sacred honor. And you're not sent there to get rich or to have a good pension. Ban earmarks. Collapse the Department of Agriculture into the Department of Energy. The Department of Education, give the money back to the states. Why we send our money up there to get it back 60 cents on the dollar with a bunch of strings attached, I've never understood. Balance the budget. First thing I will do is propose a balanced budget amendment and make them stick to it. And ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even got to entitlement reform. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, it used to be that was a safety net. The safety net has become a trampoline and a hammock. 50% of the people in this country derive a daily benefit from the federal government. We've got to reform entitlements or we will not last. The notion, Tom, I know my time is up, but you read something where somebody said something's too big to fail. Nothing is too big to fail. Rome failed. The Greek Empire failed. The United States of America can fail if we do not get control over our spending and our indulgence. Thank you. We have